On WUCA. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you, ma'am. My mom was a single lady, 2 young boys. Bought a house outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. No electricity, no running water. We had a thing called an outhouse, if you know what that is. Had one of them pumps, you know, you go like this. Baths happen fast because the water coming out of the ground is cold. Like a hero to me. She's a tough lady, and she found a way to do it. And, you know, I think her kids have probably done okay for themselves. I know she's proud of them. And over the course of my lifetime watching, and she still lives in that house, by the way. But I've watched things change dramatically. And I myself was a mechanical contractor for a while, and I was a state legislator for a while. So I'll tell you a couple stories, and then you tell me what you think. Over the course of my time, I spent some time on my local planning commission. I was the chairman of the board, and I watched the International Construction Code go from something about this big, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 pages now, 800 to 1,000 pages. And do you know how things are added to the International Construction Code?
I can imagine lots of lobbying.
It's a lot of, there's lobbying and special interest, and if you're the right group or organization, you can come in for the vote and vote for things to be put into the code, which then your local jurisdiction subscribes to and mandates. Now, I had the privilege of serving the state legislature. I know a lot of friends are firefighters, and we had an opportunity to mandate sprinklers in all residential homes. All new residential homes get sprinklers. I just happened to be building my home at the time. And when I say building my home, the home that I currently live in, I don't mean hiring some contractor down the street to do the framing and then another contractor to pull the wire and then another contractor to run the PEX or the copper. I mean, I was building my home. And so I was watching every penny. I was watching every penny. We had a little child and we were expecting another one. You know, money's tight, right? And the experts told me that my new fire suppression system was going to cost me $250. That's what the people in Harrisburg testified to. But that wasn't what I was going to be charged if I had to put it in. Now, I fought that, and we fought that, and we won because, look, if you want a fire system in your home, God bless you, then put one in. If you can afford it, put one in. But my mom didn't start out with a fire suppression system in her home. We had a potbelly stove that my brother and I cut wood in and stuck it in the fire in that potbelly stove to keep warm. Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of my lifetime, the cost of housing has exploded because government makes us do all this stuff. And it's all well-meaning. My mom didn't want to live in that house with no electricity, no water, no bathroom. But that's the opportunity we had, and we did better, and that house now has all that stuff in it. The cost of all this has gone up because the government thinks at the local, state, and federal level that we know what people need. And unfortunately, the answer from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle is always some kind of give people money to afford all that stuff, take money from you and give it to them so they can afford all that stuff, or to ban stuff. You guys, have you ever heard of fractional ownership? It's where you rent the house if you're a renter, but you can't save enough money, right? Because you're renting. We all been there. Mr. Higgins has been there, right? But if you contribute a little bit to the ownership of that home, you build equity by renting, and it's great for the owner of the home, the landlord, because you're going to take care of that of which you're investing in. And I would just encourage, instead of banning things and telling people you can't do this because the federal government says so, or the other idea is take from this person and political here, but we are trying to solve this because our people need places to live and they need to be able to afford them. And everybody wants to live in Larry Fink's house. But most people can't afford to live in Larry Fink's house. By the way, the largest private equity investor in residential housing, a supporter of the party on the other side of the aisle. He doesn't seem to have a problem with this. Instead of banning investors from being involved in the thing that's created the most wealth and dragged more people out of poverty in the world, which is real estate ownership, let's find a way to make, look, if you want to be an investor, don't get the tax credits. We're not talking about banning anything. Don't get the tax credits that Mr. Frost or Mr. Higgins or myself or any of you would get on the first time you're trying to buy a house. My goodness, there are answers out here. We don't need the heavy hand of government forcing any more of this stuff down our throat, Mr.